September 11th, 2001. Within moments of the attacks, the U.S. plans war in Afghanistan.
Make no mistake about it, your armed forces are ready.
October 7th, President Bush addresses the nation.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
The strategy? Shut down the Taliban and al-Qaeda. Special forces fight alongside friendly tribes in the north. U.S. Army Rangers parachute into a southern airfield. By November, the Taliban are on the run. Kabul falls. In December, the U.S. bombs Tora Bora, where Osama bin Laden is believed to be hiding. He flees across the border into Pakistan when the U.S. fails to block his escape. March 2003, the military's attention shifts to the war in Iraq. Even now, Defense Secretary Robert Gates recalls,
with the invasion of Iraq, our attention and our resources were diverted. Afghanistan became a second-tier priority for troops, equipment, security.
But in May 2003, then Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld sounded like mission almost accomplished.
We clearly have moved from major combat activity to a period of stability and stabilization and reconstruction and activities. The bulk of this country today is permissive, it's secure.
But in June 2005, it's evident violence is growing. This Afghan U.S. fire base has just been rocketed from a position near the border with Pakistan. U.S. Army forces here have just returned fire.
Labor and Social Affairs.
On the streets of Gardez with the local governor and Lieutenant General Carl Eikenberry.
Barbara, you need to hear this. He said, I asked him about this election, and he said the people were more excited, and I asked why, and he said because it's going to be more exciting, because there's more competition.
The governor is later assassinated. In September 2006, a security disaster. Pakistani President Pervez Musharraf says his troops will leave the volatile border region if tribesmen cut their ties to militants. The Pakistani troops withdraw, but militants operate openly. Fighters flood across the border into Afghanistan. The U.S. spends years encouraging Pakistan to crack down. In 2009, the Obama White House tries to reestablish focus.
It's been more than 7 years since the Taliban was removed from power, yet war rages on. Insurgents control parts of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Attacks against our troops, our NATO allies, and the Afghan government have risen steadily.
The president says he has a strategy.
We have a clear and focused goal: to disrupt, dismantle, and defeat al-Qaeda in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and to prevent their return to either country in the future.
In June 2009, there's a new commander, General Stanley McChrystal. McChrystal says he needs more troops and calls for a massive counterinsurgency effort aimed at providing security for civilians, a strategy far beyond defeating al-Qaeda.
I want to speak to you tonight about our effort in Afghanistan.
December 2009, President Obama orders an additional 30,000 troops into war. General McChrystal has now been replaced by General David Petraeus, the man credited with making the Iraq war strategy work. Now in its 9th year, the Afghan war has about 100,000 U.S. troops on the ground. It began with just over 1,000. Barbara